India is a country of many big cities and states like Delhi, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Mumbai, Kolkata, and many other. In all those cities, there are old buildings and historical monuments like Taj Mahal, Red Fort, and many more. You all must have visited these places. Now we'll talk about that. Did we have technologies in the ancient times? No. The structures were imagined and designed by kings and the architects of the olden times. And these monuments were built very beautifully with the hard work of all the workers. These monuments were built with detailed finishing and they were very huge and strong. The structures were flawless, which looks very fascinating. Monuments are a part of our cultural heritage. These are also built in different parts of the world. We visit historical monuments with our family and friends. They tell us about the history and various things that have happened in the past. All this is conveyed through the structures, and outside they have big granites in which we see the detailed information written about their construction. So we get to know all of this through language. Old buildings and structures after many years start to decay. However, new generation would still know that they were in existence. Let me give you an example. Older generation have experiences about the past. They have been through the wars, struggles and sufferings in the old days. So they tell the stories about the past to the younger generation, and this is how it is carried forward from generation to generation. This way, existence of physical structures continues to live as long as humans are communicating and discussing about them. This is possible through language. Let me give you another example. In a family, we have parents, grandparents, and other members. A family goes through different circumstances. Language helps us to know about ourselves and therefore establish and define our identity, which we get from our family through our parents, grandparents, and other members. We get to know about the condition of our family through language. In a family, we understand and learn being in different situations like any disputes, issues, and other situations. We learn and adapt everything we see in our family, which becomes our habit. Some people are very emotional, who dishearten very quickly if something bad happens to them. Every person reacts differently in different situations. Family relationships greatly impact people and their behavior. People follow the teachings of their families and they react according to that. Also, we are able to express our feelings and emotions through language. In our society, we have different communities which follow different religions. And even though they belong to different religions, they live in unity. Every individual has their own identity. We cannot restrict the flow of information which is carried forward from the past into the present. Let me give you an example. The river water begins to flow from its starting point and it continues to flow. Can we permanently stop the flow of water? No. If we do so, then it will automatically disperse in other directions. The flow of water can never stop. Similarly, the past flows through the present into the future, from generation to generation. It will never stop. Here I gave an example of the flow of river water. What do you think of this? As the flow of water is continuous, similarly, the life experiences of a person is flowing from one generation to the next. All this happens through language. Language has 3 roles. Let me tell you. The first role is language is used for communication. What does that mean? Let me tell you. The ideas, emotions, and experiences of a person cannot just remain with the same person always. It is communicated or travel from one human to others. People exchange their ideas, thoughts, and experiences with each other, which builds a connection between them. This communication is possible through the medium of language. Without language, communication is not possible. Language is the most important key for communication. The second role that language plays is that of being the carrier of culture. Let me elaborate. For example, parents in different cultures play an important role in molding children's behavior and thinking patterns. Children are influenced by their parents and family members in every manner. Children learn family values, good manners, respect, empathy, generosity, and many other things. They learn valuing the elders and respecting everyone. And with the positive influence and teachings of parents, children adapt all these skills and learn cultural values. Culture continues to retain its form and identity across time spans through memories and experiences handed down by one generation to another. Let me give you an example. In the river, the flow of water never stops. It constantly flows all the time. Similarly, culture also flows generation wise and it retains its form and identity. A third role that it plays is that of dissemination of culture. We cannot talk about culture without language. There are different groups of communities which follow different religions in India. For example, people from Uttar Pradesh travel to Mumbai. The culture of both the places are different. When the people from both these places interact with each other, they learn about different cuisines, share the knowledge of their culture, and can easily communicate with each other. This is possible through language, which is very important for us. Now Verma discusses another ongoing event in history. He says that historical events like war and conquest can damage and weaken the culture of a society. Do you think it can happen? No. These historical upheavals or disturbances does not stop the truth and feeling of connectedness that a language carries amongst its speakers. Let me give you an example. Earlier, India was a free country. Then this country was captured by the Britishers. They exploited and oppressed the people of India. Then after many protests and movements against the Britishers, they had to leave India. When Britishers were ruling India, our country was influenced by their language. After they left India, our country became free. After all this, did our culture or language affected? No. It remained same and strong. Nirmal Verma says that every country has its own history, right? These historical moments, conquests, wars, upheavals, all of these are documented in some form or the other. Mostly in the form of print, books, and the lessons that are there. Now, many a times, what happens is, people try to change certain facts for their own benefit, which may be very important in the past. But the point really is, do we lose real stories and the real experiences? No. What happens is, even though the facts may have been changed to some level, but the history does come to the present generation and moves on through the word of mouth. The elders of the family, people who have experienced that in their lifetime, they will share those stories of that with their children, with their grandchildren, or they will have discussions with the younger generation. And that's how, by the word of mouth, this information gets cascaded from one generation to the next. This will not be influenced even if someone tried to distort facts and rewrite history, because the truth will always be in the minds of older generation. Historical challenges and sufferings cannot take away this power of a language to be a carrier of truth, fact, and history of a society. Language always remain with us. Language is the carrier of our culture. Therefore, we can see that it is very important to nurture languages. Since ancient times in India, different languages have been spoken by different groups of people like Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, and many other languages. Today, do we see that those languages are not being spoken anymore? Not at all. Those languages are still in use and are strongly followed by the people. Similarly, deaf people use Indian Sign Language. If we look at the history of Indian Sign Language, the senior deaf people have a different style of signing which is more Indianized as compared to the generation today. Now this change in Indian Sign Language is due to the language influences that we have got from international signers of different countries. But in order to protect our own language, the Indian deaf community is now conducting awareness across to avoid the complete change to the Indian Sign Language and protecting its original existence. There are many cities in different states of India like Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, and many other. Each state of India has its own language. As Indians, we must strive to protect, nurture, and promote our languages. Each language has its own beauty. We cannot say that one language is better than another. All the languages should have equal status and should be respected equally. We must not aim to destroy another language. It is very wrong to disrespect any language. Each language has its own origin and values which should always remain same. Language is not something that can be better or worse. Nirmal Verma goes on to say that language is as dear to us as a mother, and that's why it is called a mother tongue. Let me elaborate. Why do we say the first language our mother tongue? To illustrate his point, he says that man is drawn to the world through his mother. The mother is the first point of contact, and the mother's language links him to his surroundings. He learns to speak through his mother, and this is how they connect with each other. Similarly, a deaf child also goes through the same thing. If the parents communicate in sign language, he also acquires language from them, and then he would be able to express. That is why first language is very important. And everyone has mother tongue across the world. We would not be able to express anything without knowing our first language, that is mother tongue. First language helps us in our overall development. Just like a mother assists her child in growing up, likewise, language facilitates the day-to-day activity of a social group. The mother introduces her child to the things around him. She teaches him and familiarizes him. And through her, he learns everything. All this comes to a child through language. Language also gives us an understanding of the human nature, emotions, impulses, and sensibilities. We can understand all this through language. How we react towards situations we believe as good and bad. People of different communities in India follow different religions, and each religion teaches its people the difference between good and bad. All this is taught through language. Each culture has its own unique value systems, practices, and beliefs, and this culture evolves through language, and they are interrelated. As language and culture are unique, therefore, meanings and significances vary from one language to another. That is why language and culture both have its own importance.